Use active listening to find out as much as you can about the other party and their agent. This helps you know with whom you are negotiating, on what points you will negotiate, and where you and your client have leverage. Obey the laws. Every state and locality has its own set of laws that regulate zoning, mortgage qualification, and other real estate matters. Stay current on your local regulations and stay out of court. Know the documents inside and out. Become familiar with your local board of realtors governing forms. Take the time needed to understand the form templates and what belongs in each field.
Nice.
What is it? Speak to two other agents.
I don't know. I was like,
Unlike home?
are you asking me? I think they might be telling you to talk to other agents about that agent, like they're like what's their style and how do they, are they like a hard negotiator, or are they like, that's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
Speak to two other agents, ask open-ended questions, and use active listening to find out as much as you can about the other party and their agent.
All right.
This helps you know, that's the only thing I can get from that. Does anybody have a different read on that?
Is
Because I was like,
Is that something that you recommend?
I think it depends on the agent that you're working with, and, you know, just kind of like if somebody else knows them better, maybe you kind of, I mean, if you get a feed on them, then you'll know. But, yeah.
Just wherever you can gain insight.
Yeah, I think that's basically what they're saying, yeah.
Okay.
Good. So we got the, okay, so that's the prepare. All right, so this is your turn, prepare to negotiate. So we're gonna read the scenario below. We're gonna identify the key areas in which you need more information or certainty before you could confidently negotiate on your client's behalf. Write 3 specific questions you would ask your client in the space provided below. So here's the scenario. You are representing a single buyer. Your client is renting her present property. Like any first-time buyer, she is looking to you to guide her through the process. The asking price for the home she really loves is, let's put $475.
Yeah, right?
That's I was like,
Canvas.
I really,
Yeah.
$475.
Not even.
We're gonna try and make it a little realistic, right? The house appears to have evidence of a roof leak, is listed as is, and is correctly priced. Clarification, does as is mean no repairs of any kind will be made?
Not necessarily.
Thank you. Does it mean you have the right to ask for repairs still?
Yes, you should just
you
put a
do.
number on how much you're willing to be responsible for.
You can do that. It's basically, I call it the don't nitpick me message, right? It's just don't nitpick me. Your client would like to keep her payments as low as possible since she still has a number of student loans to pay off. She wants to write an offer for $455. There has been quite a bit of activity on the listing. So you guys go ahead and take a few minutes, and I want you to do some questions that you would ask your client. What would you ask your client to get her into, you know, you need to find out, like we were talking about, what's going on in her head. How do you kind of talk to her about what's going on here? Do we understand the scenario?
Mhm.
Awesome. So take about 5 minutes and just come up with a couple questions, and then we'll share.
We already know how much she's planning to put down, is that right?
Yeah, you would already know that. I think the key things are that it's listed for $475. She wants to offer $455, and it's got a lot of activity.
And even though the roof is leaking, it's priced right at $475.
I'm gonna make that assumption because it's got a lot of activity. It says it's correctly priced. That's what the key is. It says and it is correctly priced. So it's $475. So we're on page 16. For those of you on the video. So it's priced at $475. It's correctly priced. It's got a roof leak listed as is. She needs to pay off some loans. She wants to write an offer at $455. And there's been quite a bit of activity on the listing. And payments as low as possible. By the way, this is the one time that we want you to steal your fellow students' answer. So if somebody comes up with something you love, jot it on the bottom.
Definitely.
All right, what'd you guys come up with? Erin, share one with me.
How much do you love this house?
Did you copy?
No, but I just saw it. I was like, gosh, let's put that together. But then I said, would you be sad if it's sold?
Good question. So that's interesting because in the book, this is the book censors, not mine. What is it about this house that makes it your favorite? So same kind of thing,
Okay.
on the right track. Was that your first question?
It was, and so I went with like affirmation questions,
Okay.
just so again, they could hear themselves say it. How much do you love this property? And if the roof was fixed, could you see yourself here for the long run?
Nice.
And then, with all the competition, are you willing to lose it over $25 a month?
Oh, good.
Good question. I like that. See, you took my advice. Love that.
Yeah, that's good.
Deborah, what'd you get?
I was just thinking, are you willing to pay for the repairs or live with a leaky roof for a while?
And it's something that has to be addressed, right?
To save money, yeah.
If she's
Right.
gonna come in at $455, he's not gonna pay for the roof.
Right, and it says, that's what the book says, what is the possibility of you paying for the repair and we stay at your asking price of $455?
Yeah.
So, that's similar question, like, we have to address this, right? It's addressing everything and getting a really good handle on the whole thing. What if the seller counters with a full offer to fix the roof or counters with no repair at all? So prepare them, right? That's the whole preparing them. What else did you get, Erin?
Well, I think we said it.
Did we get them all?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I would want to put on a new roof, then I could pick it out.
That's true. But would your,
But with the price
Buyer.
deduction.
with that still, remember she's got a bunch of student loans to pay off.
Yeah, it seems she would pay them off if she had the cash to fix the roof.
Right, well, that's one of the questions I asked. Does she have access to any more money for the down if this is the property she
That's
really
Mhm.
loves?
How much of a down payment?
Right?
And can she consolidate her student loans to try to get more cash per month to bring her payments up a little bit?
That's a good question too. Does she understand she stands a good chance of losing this home with a low offer because of the activity on it? Now, let me ask you this. If you were talking to the other agent and the agent said, yeah, we got 2 offers, what would your next question be?
You tell us.
No, you tell me. What do you want to
Are
know?
they good offers?
Okay.
Because good, I would say, is closer to full price.
Why don't you just ask him how much his offers are for?
Because he's not supposed to tell you.
Doesn't matter, sometimes they will.
Okay, just ask.
I represent my side, I don't represent his side. If he wants to blow it, that's his choice. The heck yeah, I'm gonna ask him. Can you tell me how much they are? And by the way, that's not necessarily true.
Really?
Because if I have
Yeah.
permission, because I can say, hey, I can say to my seller, hey, we're getting a bunch of offers.
Can I tell people what they are?
I'd like to tell people that you have a full price offer on the table, and if they wanna write an offer, better get it in, better be over full price, because we have a full price on the table. Are you okay with that? I need it in writing, not verbal, right? Yeah, you can share with everybody that we have a full price offer. That's their choice. You can share that if your seller gives you permission to share that. Why not? Yeah, I got a
right?
full
Then
price
you're
offer. Better
getting
be
better
full
offers
price.
then. But you have to
Right?
have permission first.
Yes. You cannot share any dollar amounts without permission. Now, just because you can't and you follow the rules, don't mean everybody else does. I represent my buyer. I'm going to ask you, how much are they for? And most agents are going to go, I can't tell you that. I'm going to go, I know, but I had to ask, right? And you're building a rapport with this person too, right?
Okay.
And then you say, are they good offers, right? And that's when I would get a little more like, we're sneaking around it, not actually talking dollars. Because if you were representing and you didn't have permission, you'd have to say, I can't tell you that. Right? Technically, they have to have permission to tell you that there's even an offer. Which, by the way, in our listing agreement, it already has it written in there. We have permission. And I just explained it to myself, why would I not? You wanna create buzz, right? Yeah, we have an offer on the table. So bring in a good offer. What's a good offer? That would be my question, right? I'm gonna ask straight up. I don't trust that they're gonna follow the rules, I just have to
You're
follow
gonna
the
ask
rules.
what's a good offer.
Heck yeah.
And you
And
can
they're-
ask, what does your client really want? Like, is it days, escrow days?
Oh, see, now that
What's
conversation
important?
you wanna have anyway. Like, look, I wanna write you an offer that makes sense. What are important things to your client? Is there any timing issues? That's a great question, and thank you for bringing that up, because you wanna ask that. Is there any situations, do we have any rent backs? Do we have any, like anything? What can we do to make this super simple so that it works for you guys? And you never know, you may not have the highest offer, but if you have the best terms, and look, I'll be honest, if it's $1 million property and one person offers me $995 and one person offers me $1 million, and I know that $995 agent and they wrote up what I asked them to write up, I'm gonna tell my seller, they're already making our lives easier. Do we want to, for $5,000, deal with a pain in the butt? Or do we want to deal with somebody who knows what they're doing? And a lot of times for that small amount of money, your seller's gonna go, let's counter them in $1 million and see if they'll pay the $1 million, and then we can deal with the great people.
If,
It's up to your seller.
if you have a cash buyer, you're in a better position to come in a little bit lower?
In the end, if I am selling my property, do I walk away with cash?
Yes.
No, but it will fall out of escrow, there's just like contingencies. and
Not
it's
necessarily.
Safe for sale.
Could still fall out of escrow.
Right, but it's safer. There's no financing contingencies involved.
Yes, I know. If I've got a great lender, that doesn't necessarily play out. Because I get buyers ask me that exact question. So it's good if you're gonna get people say, if I'm gonna pay cash, can I get a better deal? And I'm gonna say, in the end, to the seller, they're gonna get cash in the end anyway. So you've gotta sweeten your terms if you want it better. You're gonna cash close in 5 days, oh heck yeah, you can go a little lower. Cause then they're boom, done, they got their money. To some people, that makes a difference, but that's the other thing is, what matters to the people that are selling
Okay,
will
so,
affect whether you can get
so
a better.
call the
Yeah.
agent, so to get some insights. you
Yeah,
can write it up.
for sure. Yeah, always, always, always. You always wanna don't write an offer before you have a conversation with the other side.
Okay.
You always wanna say, how do we make this easier? What can I, what special things do you want me to put in here? Is there any special terms of any kind? Is there any, ask them, yeah, because you wanna come across as cooperative, you want them to like you. Because they're gonna go to bat for you if there's multiple offers, right?
I
It makes a
got
difference.
Yeah, I got a text yesterday from one of the places that we saw, the agent just texted and said, how did your client like the place?
Common, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I just kinda gave her a generic, she
Yep.
liked it, and another one,
Yep.
just so I didn't really say anything, over
Right.
the top.
Perfect, yeah.
So they do that,
People will-
just
heck
follow
yeah,
up,
I'll ask you.
just to, okay.
Yeah, I'll follow up on all my listings. Anybody who shows it, what does your client think? Are they interested? Do I have any feedback? And I'll actually take the feedback and be nice about it.
Okay.
Yes, because I've been yelled at before, which is
By?
a whole lot of fun. By a listing agent.
By a listing agent.
Yeah, the listing agent yelled at me. So my client wanted to see the property even though it wasn't going to be a perfect fit for them. They wanted to see it anyway. So I negotiated the seeing, and because they weren't buying it, she yelled at me. And I said, if you don't want the listing, I'd be happy to take it for you. She didn't like that. I didn't care.
Just threatening to, I don't wanna say threaten, just keeping somebody's earnest money ever.
So really they have to, escrow has to follow contract. So as long as they're within a period of time, then, they can get it out of escrow because they're within time frame, right? If it comes after time frame and they're trying to get it, it can get sticky because escrow can only do what both parties have agreed to. So it's after time frame and there's no reason, then it becomes an issue. And escrow is a neutral third party. So if one party says do this and one party says do the opposite, escrow can do nothing at that point, unless it's been agreed upon in the contract. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Get into that situation and you bring a broker in.
Have you ever kept someone's earnest money?
I have personally not. No, the one scenario, I had a deal in California that went that way, and in the end, and I was representing the seller, in the end I convinced them it really wasn't worth it because they were holding the escrow, which means the property was in escrow. So we couldn't put it in escrow with another buyer. So it was like, is it really worth this couple $1,000s versus getting it sold? Because their motivation was they needed it quicker. So I said, you have to make the decision, but really do you want to fight over this? and it was a couple days late, and it was just like, you know, you gotta pick your battles, right? So if you wanna continue this, you can keep that couple $1,000 and you'll probably win in the end, but do you wanna go through all that stress? It didn't end up making sense for them. They wanted to get it sold, right? He's like, no, I wanna get it sold. I go, great, then let's just move on. It's a couple days, you know. They made a mistake, yeah. It's their fault, yeah. You have the rights over that. Do you really want to? Like, he didn't want to.
Don't need to be.
He was a nice guy. He's just like, no, I feel, you know, so he chose not to.
Do you write a cover letter with your
Offers?
Marion said something interesting in the video that she said she doesn't because it's such a quick summary that if they read it, then they might miss some of the really juicy things that she put into the contract, into the offer.
That is a personal preference with how you do your deal and how you, sometimes I will read the situation. I read the scenario. A lot of people don't stage their properties right, so there's photos of the family, so you're looking at kind of whose house is this. Okay, this is grandma and grandpa's house. You can look at the history, how long they've been there. Like, do they really love this house? Do they have a garden that's completely tended? Do they have, like, you can tell by the property how much love is in the property. When there's a lot of love, I do feel like letters make a difference.
And so you say something complimentary, and it seems like you could still do a summary of this is the offer, days, and say, please note these other things in the cover letter, whatever those juicy things are that you put into the
Yeah.
contract.
You have to work it how you want to work it.
Okay.
That's up to you. Yep. All right, moving on to present. Deborah, would you read present, or did you read the first one, Deborah?
Yeah, but I didn't read the last one, so.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then would you read?
Move into the negotiation process by presenting your current offer to the co-op agent and listening to the response. Call the other agent to let them know the offer or counteroffer is coming. Then invite them into the buying loop in eEdge where they will be able to view the offer contract.
We don't have those loops anymore.
Okay, don't invite them into the buying loop.
Yeah.
Okay, pay attention to nonverbal cues. While it is not always possible or practical to make your presentation in person, a face-to-face meeting allows you to analyze body language and facial expressions. Otherwise, present your offer by phone and listen for verbal cues.
You will not be able to present an offer generally in person around here. It's just not done anymore.
Okay.
But do you accompany a phone call with your offer?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sending you an offer. It'll be emailed to you in 5 minutes. We're looking forward to a response, and we're looking forward to working in escrow with you. Right? Like, again, the communication, but we've already had a talk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're building rapport in that talk, remember. Right? They want to be like, yeah, I want to work with this person. It's a nice person. They want to work with people that are nice, right?
Yeah, of course.
Keep quiet once you present an offer. Sometimes letting the other person do most of the talking is the most powerful negotiation technique because of what they will reveal. Listen carefully to what is important to the other party. Write down what they say to demonstrate that you're taking them seriously, and then move on.
That's if you're doing the offer in person, I think.
Yeah. Stay calm and relaxed. Either party may have a strong emotional reaction to the price or other terms of the offer. Be a calming influence until they're able to see the situation rationally again. Remember, you are there as a representative for your client. Keep your emotions out of it.
So generally you're not going to be in that scenario because you're not presenting in person, but this does bring up the point that if you are presenting to your client, let's say you're presenting an offer to your seller that you know they're not going to like.
Yeah.
Present it, let them vent. Some people like to vent. So funny, I've had people say, I'm so sorry I yelled at you, and I'm like, you don't yell. I've had people actually yell at me. You don't yell. Let them vent, let them do what they have to, stay calm and say, by the way, we have 48 hours to respond, so why don't you sleep on it and we'll discuss our tactics tomorrow. Like, let them get through the process of being mad.
Yeah.
Like, just let them work through it. Because at that point, you're not going to get anything good out of the interaction. That makes sense? All right.
So it's 48 hours for response?
Not always. It's going to have a
Let's say.
response time, but I'm just saying, tell them what it is. Say, hey, we got 3 days to respond, or we've got 24 hours to respond. Let's talk in 10, whatever. Go through the day, process, think about this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes as the time you get a little further away, you get a little calmer and you're like, well, maybe it's not quite as bad as I thought it was, and it changed perspective, right? Yeah.
Focus on the customer's needs. Isolate the objections of both sides and offer solutions that will satisfy the other party while still meeting your client's core needs. Give your offer the best chance. Be confident and committed to your offer as you present it. Avoid indicating to the other side if you believe it's a less than great offer for them.
Yes. Please, if you are representing the buyer, don't go,
Don't say, I know
I'm
this is a
sending you a
terrible offer."
pathetic offer. Like, you know, it's, you represent your buyer, like, all right, we're sending you an offer, we're really looking forward to hearing back from you know, whatever, like, pull up your best, that you, even if you know it's just a terrible offer. And by the way, do you have to write a really, really bad offer? Like, I had somebody ask me about a year ago to write an offer at 50% of asking price for a condo. Do you have to
And
write that?
You said.
Yes, you do, because you have a fiduciary responsibility.
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I didn't have a buyer broker with her, and I said, I'm sorry, but we are in a market that's selling 97% to list in this development. I'm not willing to write a 50% offer. It's a waste of your time, and it's a waste of my time. Now, I'm gonna take that backwards and point out something else. Let's say in your scenario with the lady in the 455, let's say she says, I wanna write the 455. Even if you know she's not gonna get it, would you have her write the offer anyway?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
then
it
you
starts
go
to
from
loosen
there.
her up and get her in
Yes.
the process.
I would have someone write an
And
offer,
also then-
even if I knew they weren't gonna get
And
it.
when something gets pulled away from you, then you want it even more.
Yes, losing one will motivate you more than, it's that same conversation of
Yeah.
you talking about the agent that was telling you that he lost a buyer because he didn't have a buyer broker. And I'm like, learn from him, right? Like, we try and educate, but when you have it happen to yourself, it makes all, then you it's like the most successful seminar ever when it happens to you personally, right? It's the same with our buyers. They sometimes need to lose one to realize they're being unrealistic. If they're losing multiple, they just may not be an actual buyer, right? But there's nothing wrong with that. And you want people write offers. Now at 50%, that's a waste of my time. I'm not
Right.
doing that. But, make sense?
And if
All right.
you did have an agreement with her? the
A buyer
50%,
broker?
Yeah, you wouldn't still be obligated?
No, I don't believe I still would have, and I probably would have canceled the buyer broker with her. Because,
Right,
and that's why I didn't have one with her, because I knew
okay.
what she could afford, and she could only afford a certain amount, and she doesn't want what she can afford. So I said, as long as she doesn't want what she can afford, I don't wanna work with her. I have the right to create my business the way I want, right? I can say no. And I'll tell you, in the very beginning of my business when I was in California, I had a client that was crazy. Husband and wife getting a divorce, selling a house. And I took the listing. They were both nuts. It was the most unbelievable thing. And I was so attached to, like, I knew and I need a deal, right? I need a deal, I need a deal, I need a deal. And someone finally talked to me and she's like, you do not need a deal this bad. You need to let this go. I let that go, and within, I think it was 15 days, I was in escrow on $1 million house with the most awesome buyer that literally met me on Sunday and wrote an offer on Tuesday on another house, and we were in escrow and he bought it. And that was 16 years ago. So $1 million house was a lot of money back then. And I was like, you let something bad go, something shows up that's amazing. So
I would think the divorce situation would be a nightmare.
it was just a mess. They were both, and they would, here's the thing, I don't mind people that aren't getting along, but they were yelling at me. And I was like, no, you don't yell at me. Like, that's not, you guys don't have to be getting along, that's okay, but you have to be civil to me. And they were being mean to me. And I was just like, I was coming home all crushed. I'm like, it was bad. You're like, don't do that to yourself. All right. So page 18, we're on to nonverbal cues. So, this is very interesting. So I want you guys to share with me some, what do you think of as, and we're talking face-to-face, so this is really important when you're dealing with your client, right? Because often you're gonna meet with your client face-to-face. Sometimes it's on the phone, but, so what are some positive things when you're talking to someone? What are some positive nonverbal cues that they're giving you?
Smiling, head nodding.
Nice. Yeah?
Leaning in,
Yes.
raising your eyebrows.
Oh yeah, like the interested, do I do that a lot? I probably do.
I do, I know, I'd be like, oh, look at that.
Or like super huge smiles.
Yeah, like when the smile gets really big and really real and it goes to the eyes and you're like, oh, that's a good one. Okay, nice. What else?
Is laughing nonverbal?
I don't know but I would say, yeah, if people are laughing and happy, yeah, I think that's always a good thing. I mean, I guess technically there's a sound coming out of the mouth, but it's not words. So I think we're in that gray area, I don't know. But it sounds good. All right, so what are negative face-to-face?
Folding arms.
Right, this. That's not good, right? Like, yeah.
Looking down.
Looking down at the ground, any lack of eye contact,
Mm-hmm.
looking away.
Pushing papers away,
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Ooh.
sitting back from the table.
Yeah, and it's interesting because sitting back, sometimes I think sitting back can be, I'm trying to absorb everything that's coming at me,
Mhm.
so I'm just giving a little space. So I think you have to look at how they sit back, right? Like, are they crossing anything? Are they like, what other cues are coming along with that? Because like for me, sometimes when somebody's talking and I'm bored, I'll just be like, I want more, you know, and I kind of sit back, I'm like, I want to take it all in.
Mhm.
So I think we have to sort of see what's happening in that situation.
Watch their jaws, see if it's clenching,
Oh,
tightening.
yeah.
I don't do offhand, but I'll let you know.
I would say like doing this.
Yeah, like
Holding your face.
All the things we do.
So, my husband does this when he's stressed out. So every once in a while, I'll be like, I'll see him, and he has this little red spot here. It's like, what is going on? I'm like, oh, you're pinching your nose, because he'll just sit there and pinch his nose. Like,
I had a boss once who would go into negotiation, and when somebody'd say to him, can we get a lower price, he'd go, and he'd sit like that, and they'd go, what's wrong? And he wouldn't move. And he'd look at me and go,
I'm
what's
crushed.
going on? What's he doing? Are you okay? Is he okay? And he'd just sit and he wouldn't move a muscle.
Until they said, okay, we'll pay.
Yeah, and then they just get up and go, we gotta go. Just leave things as they are, we're gonna go.
Wow. And it worked.
It worked. It worked. It was
that
ridiculous.
crazy?
Wow.
It was
I
like,
love
what?
that. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, if you have something that works, right? So so let's talk about on the phone. Like, what things are you listening for in the voice? Positive. What are positive things? Mm-hmm.
Some influx, not flat.
Yeah.
Not a lot of dead space.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of same
A
thing.
little laugh.
Yeah, definitely. You think maybe upbeat?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Upbeat, yeah. Faster tone generally in tones and excitement, although if you're dealing with a C, just so you know, they can stay, those engineers that just, you can't read them. You're like, are they happy or sad? Like, those are the ones I go, am I allowed to hug you? And they'll tell me if I'm allowed to or not, right? Like, it's funny how people are like that. Okay, so tell me something negative on the phone. What would be negative?
Silence.
Silence, yeah.
Being like adamant, like going over terms specifically,
Mm-hmm.
slower.
Okay.
Like, do you hear me?
Right. You mean like if they're repeating something, that could be.
Or I feel like enunciating. People like
Okay.
are stressed, like enunciate to get their point across.
That's a good one. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. What else? So how do you know? How do you know if you lose someone when you're talking on the phone and they're not paying attention to you anymore?
You ask a question, they don't answer.
True. Or you hear the tap, tap, tap of their keyboard in the background.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always love that one.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh, this person's not listening to me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when you're updating your database and you're doing calls, I do written notes because I don't want to be typing when I'm on the phone with anyone ever because you can hear it. So, yeah.
Duly noted.
All right. So, those are good to know, right? Nice. All right, so let's talk about a few tactics. So there's a few tactics in here. So in negotiating, your clients and or agents may use certain methods or tactics in an attempt to manipulate the negotiation. Because these tactics are generally predictable, you can learn to quickly and accurately identify them when they are being used on you. Additionally, you can respond with the appropriate counter tactic with a high probability of accurately predicting how your response will be taken. following are 3 of the most common tactics used in negotiations and counter tactics to use in response. Okay, first tactic. Erin, will you read that one to us?
One, nibbling. Once your client has agreed upon one major concession, the other party will start nibbling for additional smaller concessions.
Yes, this can happen. People start to get really nitpicky. That's that whole, when I was talking about stepping over dollars to get nickels, and you're like, stop, right? So how do you stop that?
Just, do you want to lose this deal? Are these small things that you just, they made the concession, you're the other people?
So this is the other side saying to you, we want this, and then now we want this, and now we want this, and they just keep coming back to you.
Right.
More and more and more.
Mhm.
And you're like,
Yeah.
right?
My client's satisfied with the terms, just lay it out there.
Yep, there you go.
Stop bothering them.
You can do that. So stop nibbling from happening to you by nibbling back. So ask for a concession in return before agreeing to any further concessions.
Mm.
Great. If you want us to do that, then you're gonna have to do this. And then again, great if you want us